What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers, after landing Luka Doncic via trade from the Dallas Mavericks, and still what is an incredibly shocking trade, the Lakers tried to follow that up and get Luka, kind of that go-to center, the type of center that Luka really likes, right? That was kind of like the one request that Luka had. They went and traded for Mark Williams. Unfortunately, the Mark Williams trade ended up falling through for the Lakers. They ended up doing a whole physical. He ends up failing the physical. And then there was a lot of talk about, Charlotte's going to appeal the decision, right? Mark Williams, he doesn't want to return to Charlotte. He doesn't want to play for them anymore since the trade. It's kind of just been this absolute mess, this whole roller coaster. But then we got an update from Adam Silver, and Adam Silver was like, hey, they didn't file any appeal. They didn't do anything official, right? They were, supposedly Charlotte was in contact, but it appears that they didn't go through with the appeal. At this point, I imagine they're probably not going to do it. Lakers and Hornets are about to face each other. I think both sides are going to move on. But the question arose of, how does Luka feel about this, right? Jackson Hayes, sure, right? Supposedly, Jackson Hayes said himself that Luka and him had always talked about playing together, and that apparently Dallas tried to trade on several occasions for a Jackson Hayes, and it just never came to fruition. And Jackson Hayes said, after every game, I used to tell Luka that, hey, if you need a center, I'm here. Let me know. And now they're playing with each other on the Lakers. So it was kind of like, Jackson Hayes has Luka's support. Luka's always liked Jackson Hayes. Right? So maybe that could be enough. But there was concerns about hey, this isn't a good start for Luka, right? And, we got reports from Mark Stein, per the Stein line, that gave us a little bit of update in regards to how Luka feels about that situation. Because, look, the Lakers, Luka, all of us fans, everybody wanted a center. And when we all got the news that Mark Williams was going to be the center, all of us, more likely than not, including Luka, were all like, yes, we just got our guy, our franchise guy. Luka was probably looking at it as man, me and Mark Williams for the next 10 plus years. And then that falls apart, right? Especially after the Lakers announced him and all that stuff. But per Mark Stein, he relayed with the Lakers that yet there has been no tangible dismay from the Doncic camp about his new team walking away from the Williams deal. Sources told the Stein line that Doncic, in his first discussion about roster construction with the Lakers vice president of basketball operations, Rob Pelinka, told Pelinka that he understood it might take until the summer to make the addition and come away impressed by how swiftly the Lakers initially moved to try to address the void. So, according to Mark Stein, right, after the Lakers went and made the trade for Luka, Rob Pelinka sat down with Luka and basically said, what do you need, right? What is the type of team you want us to construct around you? What are the key points that you look for the most? And Rob Pelinka even said it in the press conference, right? That hey, this is the type of center that we need because Luka wants that type of center, right? He wants that lob threat, that guy that he can be the outlet to. He's really good at dribble penetration, get into the teeth of defense collapses, boom, easy lob to that center. You've seen Jackson Hayes just feast already on Luka. That was the idea, that was the intention with Mark Williams. Fortunately, that went through, and then again, there was questions like, how is Luka going to handle this? But according to Mark Stein's report, Luka and his camp are okay. They understand, hey, you just got me, right? 2 days before the trade deadline, right? That Luka was impressed with how quickly Rob was able to try to address that, but unfortunately it didn't work out, right? It's the effort is what I gather from this, is that, Luka and his team looked at that and went, man, okay, Lakers aren't playing, right? Because it's one thing to say, hey, what do you need, right? It's another to go, okay, what do you need? All right, let's grab it. Let's get it, right? Unfortunately, it didn't work out. It fell through. But that's a good sign because it shows Luka, hey, no, we're serious about this, right? This situation didn't work out, but don't worry, there's going to be others. And we're going to get that guy for you. You want this? Then that's what we're going to get, right? You want that outlet center? Don't worry, we'll get that outlet center. And so I do imagine that, again, Lakers are going to revisit that in the offseason, whether it is a Mark Williams trade or maybe another type of trade, right? Maybe a Jalen Duren. Maybe you could revisit that in the offseason and that changes, right? Walker Kessler, maybe Utah, depending on where their draft pick is or something like that. Maybe they look at it and go, okay, like maybe we got 15 centers now, right? So you never know what is going to happen in the offseason. That's why I've been very, adamant about like, hey, Lakers are going to be major players in the offseason. They're going to have all their assets, all their picks, right? Or not a ton of picks, but they'll have a first 4 pick swaps, 2 seconds before the draft, right? You have $40+ million in expiring salary. You have Austin Reeves and his contract if you need to do that. You have Dalton Connect, which is worth a first, maybe 2, right? Or 2 heavily protected firsts or something like that, right? So you're talking about Lakers have the assets to go and really revamp this roster, really revamp this team. And I think this team is going to look very different next season. I think this team, bare minimum, the Lakers are going to go get that center. Right, whether it's revisiting again the Mark Williams trade and seeing if there's a path to get that, maybe they get Mark Williams for just Dalton Connect and like a pick swap, right? And you still have 3 pick swaps and a first and a second, 2 seconds, unless they draft the guy, right? Like the Lakers will have that flexibility. If not, maybe it's somebody else. Maybe they're bringing in a Miles Turner. Now that's not really the lob threat that Luka wants, but I mean, it could be worse, right? Like Miles Turner gives you the interior defense, gives Luka a guy that he could dump the ball on to go to work. I think the Lakers will try to look for more like a Nick Claxton, right? Is another guy that I think the Lakers will probably look and maybe revisit with the Brooklyn Nets in the offseason. Also, he'll be $2 million cheaper. So I think the first thing that they do is probably try to get with Charlotte and be like, okay, now that we can renegotiate, what do you want? Because we're not giving you everything, right? Like we still are interested in Mark Williams, but we're not selling the farm like we were previously, and see how that goes. If there's nothing there, and Charlotte's like, you're crazy, like we're not like that ship has sailed type thing, then I think the Lakers will move on to like I said, a Nick Claxton or something like that, to where it's like, okay, we can get this guy 25 years old, right? Luka's probably going to make him look like a superstar. You got the versatile defensive versatility that he provides. Not really that big interior bulky center, but he is a guy that can be what Luka type of center Luka wants, right? And you want to appease that, right? You could also find that big interior center in the offseason as well, whether that's through another trade or free agency or something like that. There's a couple centers and pieces that are going to be available in the offseason. So again, Lakers will have some flexibility, but at the end of the day, it's about keeping Luka happy, right? It's about keeping Luka content, because you got to keep in mind, Luka could still just leave. Like Lakers aren't out of the woods yet. I don't believe he will. I'm fairly confident that he's going to stick around and sign a new contract and whatnot, right? Like I would be genuinely shocked, and nothing really shocks me, right? But I would be genuinely shocked if Luka left the Lakers, at least this go around, right? There are talks about Luka signing a 3-year deal, and the reason for a 3-year deal is because then he would be at 10 years, and after 10 years, he can now increase to 30% of the cap. So I think that what will bare minimum will happen, Luka will sign his new contract. He'll go within that 3-year window, and then depending on where if the Lakers are terrible, or they're kind of floundering, right? Then maybe I could see Luka being like, all right, I need to get out of here, right? Depending on where that situation is. But I think if Lakers are competitive and they're good and they're competent, and even if LeBron left, but if they won a championship or 2 during that stretch, I don't think Luka's going anywhere. Or if they're close, let's say they got to the finals twice or something like that, right? I think if they're close or they're competitive, or Luka feels like, okay, we're in range here, then I think he sticks around. But you do still need to appease Luka, right? And the beauty is, though, too, is everything that you want for Luka all makes sense for LeBron, right? Having that floor running lob threat big man that's just versatile, right? Having the 3-and-D spread out, 3-and-D shooters is huge for LeBron. So the beauty is everything that you're building for Luka all makes the same sense for LeBron. So it's not something where it's oh, this only works for Luka, but what about LeBron? No, it's this works either way, however you shake it, right? This is good. So I do imagine the Lakers are really going to address several needs in the offseason, particularly at the center spot. But it's good to hear that Luka's kind of hey, look, we were impressed with how quickly the Lakers, we figured nothing would happen until the offseason. We figured, Luka understands the timeline here, Luka understands kind of where the Lakers are at, right? How everything shaped up, how everything unfolded, right? I mean, Lakers have been very apparent, very clear that, like, hey, we didn't really think we were going to get Luka, right? Like, Nico Harris was like, hey, do you want Luka? Like, Rob Pelinka even said, or Nico said, that Rob Pelinka thought he was joking, right? Like, because you do. Like, if somebody came up and was like, oh, hey, do you want to trade for Luka? Like, I'd be like, stop, right? Like, no, seriously, like, how was your day, right? Like, I feel like, quit teasing me, man. But no, lo and behold, right, Lakers were able to land him. So it's good that Luka is on the same page, and it wasn't something where it was like, hey, Luka's disappointed or Luka's upset or, Luka really wanted that lob threat, or whatever, right? Like, or, Luka's going to kind of monitor this offseason and say, like, no, it was just kind of like, hey, Luka was impressed with how quickly the Lakers acted, and he understands, like, hey, stuff happens, stuff falls through. He appreciates the effort, and he understood that it's probably not going to happen until the offseason. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you love this news? Dislike this news? Kind of mixed in the middle? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot, so we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.